This episode of the Buffalonian Podcast is brought to you by the Buffalonian division of the CastSource Podcast Network, a podcast network built by Buffalonians for Buffalonians, featuring the shows such as the Goatheads Podcast and the Buffalonian Podcast. We cover Bills, Sabres, and more, with more shows on the way very soon. And the CastSource Podcast Network covers many genres, including sports, business, mental health, marketing, and entertainment, featuring the podcast shows such as Sports Bring People Together, Limitless, Saviors of the Metaverse, and The Athletic Mindset. Learn more at castsource.com/podcast. And without further ado, let's get into the Bills, Sabres, hot takes, trivia, and more of the Buffalonian Podcast. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian.
Birthday?
It's for Kiko. Dom, 2 days ago, he hit the big number 21. Let that fade out.
Thanks, guys.
I just wanted to embarrass him, truly, because I don't know how uncomfortable that would make him. I wanted to see, but I had to pick the goofy happy birthday. But we're back on this Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. With the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Callie, and as always, I'm joined by Dom Loss and Mike Marino. And we have not. When was the last we released on Friday? But it was on a Wednesday, as we found out at the end of that one. But let's get right into it here. We got some Bills, Sabres, Bills to catch up on, Sabres to catch up on, and of course the usual hot takes, trivia, and more coming later in the week. But the Bills, before we get into the schedule. They've made a couple of signings. Dom, I'll let the birthday boy take it away on this one. Happy birthday.
Well, they signed Shane Ray. They just signed Shane Ray, about our running back from UCF. They're just shiny people because they have 90 slots open for the training camp. Isaiah Bowser's his name, I thought. And then they signed a linebacker, Traven Howard. I don't know if they're at 90 yet. I think they're at 89, so they could sign one more person. So hopefully maybe that's a veteran edge rusher. But we did sign a veteran edge rusher in Shane Ray, so I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah.
These guys
are first round pick.
Former teammate of Von Miller's in Denver. So just more training camp bodies. Maybe these guys can find a way onto the practice squad or give them a look where they can potentially make another practice squad or another 53-man roster. So not really notable, but more just something to look at, and who knows, maybe they find a way to maximize these guys' talents in a couple. Maybe, Bowser's a rookie. Maybe in a couple years, he might be on the 53-man roster after being on the practice squad.
Yeah, killer last name. I mean, kind of strikes fear into the hearts of your opponents, But what do you guys? We haven't gone through the schedule in its entirety yet, so let me get that up. We'll run through it in its entirety because it just hasn't happened yet. We haven't had an episode since the schedule came out, so finals week, all that kind of stuff. Schedule and the preseason games were just released yesterday, were they not? Or 2 days ago, sometime.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's kick it off. Oh. Hang on. I'll air that in a minute. Hang on. So, preseason game. Colts Bills August 12th. Bills Steelers August 19th. Bills Bears August 26th. Let's see, little Justin Fields action, maybe the game before the regular season starts, I don't know. Then September 11th, 2023 in New York, 8:15 p.m. prime time. We have Bills versus A-Rod in the Jets. I want to say the Packers every time because they basically created a mock Packers team over there. But I'll be at that game, which will be cool, But it's just to see Aaron Rodgers play in a Jets uniform. Good, it's going to be a good game either way, And then we got Bills Raiders, probably not as good of a game, but whatever. September 17th. One of the couple 1 o'clock games we have. If you don't like 1 o'clock games, this is the season for you. That's all I'm saying. A lot of them are at 4:25 or prime time. Then September 24th, 1 o'clock in Washington, I believe, Bills Commanders. Then October 1st, 23, the Dolphins play the Bills at home. They reversed it, so the weather is not a factor for either game, quote unquote. Then we go to Tottenham at 9:30 a.m., October 8th, 2023. Bills play the Jaguars. Is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay. Then right back at it. No bye week after like we originally thought could happen. We go to the Giants, 8:15 or 8:20 p.m. on October 15th. Primetime home game. Dable's back in the stadium, so that'll be a good game. Then we got Bills Patriots, October 22nd at 1 o'clock. Buccaneers. Then on October 26th, another primetime game. Then Bills Bengals the week after, November 5th, another primetime game, 8:20. Then they stuck Russell Wilson on primetime yet again against the Buffalo Bills. So November 13th, 2023, another primetime, 8:15 p.m. So that's 3 primetime games in a row. And then the Bills Jets in Buffalo, the second matchup, November 19th, is at 4:25. So, I mean, if you're picking up a pattern here where there's only one more 1 o'clock game from here till the end of the schedule. Well, possibly. We do have a TBD, but we don't know. So then we have the defending NFC champs, Bills Eagles, November 26, 23, 4:25. Bills Chiefs, unfortunately, yet again at Arrowhead. They will never come to this city, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. 4:25 p.m., December 10th. Then we play Jerry Jones and them Cowboys, December 17th, 2023, 4:25 p.m., so another later game. And we get to face off against Brandon Staley this season, which I'm personally looking forward to since my brother's a Chargers fan. But Bills Chargers, December 23rd, 2023, another 8 o'clock p.m. game. So again, like I said, if you don't like 1 o'clock games, this is the season for you. So then the final home game, I believe, of the season is December 31st, 2023 against the New England Patriots. And then the final game, and that's at 1 o'clock. That's the final home game. Then the final game of the season, Bills Dolphins, January 7th, 2024, to be determined. That I could see being definitely, if both teams are in good standing and like the playoffs, could definitely be a primetime game. So, which is there's a probability of that, a pretty decent probability of that. So, I mean, that's I guess a rundown of the 2023 schedule. But I mean, what are your, just as the schedule came out? I know we didn't really like talk for a little bit just with school and whatnot. What are the general thoughts here of this schedule, difficulty wise, whatnot? Just kind of like, you know, I mean, we'll get into it in a minute, but games they absolutely just hammer, they win, or interesting game, that kind of thing. Let's chit chat about it. Let's rumble about it for a little bit. Whoever wants to take it right away.
Okay. Well, I'll start. So, I think it's going to be a tough schedule. It's going to be, to show that we're really like one of those top teams. I know, like you said, like there's not many 1 o'clock games on the schedule this year, especially at home. So it's kind of like we're must-watch TV here. Like, people want to watch the Bills. Obviously, with every schedule, there's a few games that like they should be wins. So like, I feel like Vegas should be a win. Like Washington, like Tampa Bay, games like that.
You think McDermott's going to stick it to Rivera?
I really hope so. Like they're going to start what, Sam Howell? So like, do like really? But I don't know. There's going to be some tough games on there. Like obviously, we play the Chiefs and Arrowhead again. The Jets will be tough this year. Dolphins will be tough. Playing Philly, the defending NFC champs, it's going to be interesting, like a Brian Dable revenge game. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati, obviously, but I think our schedule is spaced out. I do like how the bye is not after a London game. I like how it's now week 13 instead of week 6, so that we don't have such an early bye. To reset. Yeah, I mean, there might be. I think the positives that game after London is a night game. So that kind of helped. I think it'd be different if it was like going to be a 1 o'clock game or something. But no, I think our schedule's spaced out kind of good because, we have a tough game, I'd say, the Jets week 1, and then you have the Raiders and Commanders, and then Miami. Then you have a tough stretch with like Miami, Jacksonville, Giants, but then you have another break with like New England, Tampa before Cincinnati, and then another kind of break with Denver, and then you have the Jets again in Philly, and then that bye week right before you had to go play KC. So I think the schedule's it's hard. I would say it's tough, but like the past few years, all of our schedules have been tough, and I think it's spaced nice to where it's not like one stretch of the year is going to be super easy and another stretch is going to be super hard. I think it's balanced well.
I guess you kind of disagree with that. I think it's split. I think the schedule turns after the Denver game. I think the Denver game, you go home Jets, at Eagles, bye, at Chiefs, home Dallas, at Chargers, home Patriots, at Miami. I think that do quick math in my head, 7 games. So I think the first 10 games of the schedule aren't too bad. I think going on the road to Cincinnati is a tough game. And then, Jets and Dolphins may be tough, and then we'll see with Jacksonville. I think the first half is a very gettable schedule. I think the back half is difficult, but they're also like really only 2 teams that should be pretty much better than the Bills, and the Chiefs and the Eagles are close to them, and then they should be able to beat the rest of the teams. But knowing how close they are to the Bills, it probably won't be that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Again, late bye this year. It's the first time in a while. I feel like they've had a really late bye. First time ending the season in Miami since 2017 when they clinched the playoffs for the first time in century. First time playing the Jets on the I shouldn't say home opener, but opening game a couple of years because they played the Steelers and then the Rams last year. And I had to say, like, a couple of things just to note is that, like, they don't play a lot of 1 o'clock home games. And I got to say, having the Raiders as a home opener sucks. It's a terrible home opener.
Yeah.
I mean, like, out of anyone that could be the home opener, like, you pick, I just think
Jimmy G.
That's a bad home opener. I don't understand how so they have 6 primetime games, I think was their official count. I don't understand how 2 of those primetime games are Monday Night Football against Denver and Thursday Night Football against Tampa. The only reason I could see them is because Thursday Night Football, Baker versus Josh, potentially, the battle of 2018 quarterbacks. And then Monday Night Football, I think they're just going to milk the absolute crap out of Von Miller.
Oh, yeah.
His former team for the first time. But my most interesting note to say is Josh Allen has the opportunity to pick up his first career win versus 2 teams. Can anyone name the 2 teams that he has potential to pick up his first career win in?
I think is
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
No. When did we beat Cincinnati?
Hang on a second here. Did we
Dawson
play the
win over?
Oh yeah.
Did we play the Chargers with him? With Allen? Is that one
2020? Of them? Yeah, they beat Herbert's rookie year.
That's right.
Okay, hang on.
But they gave that Hail Mary at the end of the game, and the QB sneaked for a reason.
Yes. Yeah. I do remember that now.
Okay,
let's put our heads together on this.
There are 2 teams that Josh has not beat. I have a hint, but I will keep the hint to myself.
That he's not beat.
I feel like one of them's. I was gonna say one of them's got to be Tampa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's got to be another NFC South team. It has to be because we haven't. We played NFC South in 2019, so Josh's first year. Was there a stretch when he was hurt, or okay? So it's got to be one of those teams.
Trying to think.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint.
Wait, we don't play the NFC South. Never mind.
Sean McDermott has not beaten this team either. Because he beat Tampa in 2017. That would have been my hint.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Cancel out. Okay. We've beaten everyone in our division. We've beaten Dallas, beaten Kansas City.
Hang on. I have an idea. I have a thought.
Beaten the Giants.
Technically, the Commanders are a new team because they're not the Washington name redacted anymore.
Screw that crap.
Is it Philly?
Ding, 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 ding. Yep.
Hey.
Josh Allen lost to Tampa in 2021 in that overtime. Tom Brady. And
he carried that team back to the overtime.
Yeah. Got turf toe carrying that team on his back. That's what he did.
In 2019, they lost at home to Philadelphia in that that rainy game. That's a very forgettable game.
Yeah.
But yes. And then McDermott also has not beaten Philly. He did beat McDermott already has beaten Tampa because that happened in 2017. I think I was at that game. So yes, that was my fun fact. Thanks for playing along.
Oh wait, who? I'm trying to remember.
Wait, so Josh has beaten 29 other teams?
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if that's the number.
It's just on their schedule.
Now I feel like we had to count him out. He's beaten everyone in the AFC East.
Okay.
He beat Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Because I don't think he had beaten Cleveland until last year. That was a team that he hadn't beaten. The South, he's beaten Tennessee, Jacksonville, Houston. I don't think he's beaten Indianapolis.
Hey, Josh Allen's record against every NFL team.
Are we counting playoffs? Oh, I didn't think of that.
I don't know because he beat the Colts in the playoffs.
We've not beaten the Cardinals. Josh is not.
Yeah, Hal Murray.
Mm-hmm. They've not met again since then. He's beaten the Falcons one time.
Don't worry, we won't play Kyler Murray again. We'll play Caleb Williams.
He's not beaten the Buffalo Bills. He has no regular season record against them.
No, he hasn't beaten so the two teams in the NFC that he could, because I think the only team left in the NFC is the Cardinals. I think the only team left.
He hasn't beaten the Colts in the regular season. He has in the playoffs.
Technically the Colts. Which they play
Eagles.
They play next year.
Yes.
Ooh, Anthony Richardson versus Josh Allen.
The two bionic men. That could be a very interesting game if Richardson pans out.
Yeah, so that game. So that's the. Yeah, he got Cleveland off the hook. Yeah.
All right.
Really kind of zero AFC teams. I don't know. I don't obviously kind of not counting the Bills, but he technically beating the Colts. I guess
he'll never beat the Bills.
That went over both of your heads about 3 minutes ago when I said it. I mean, I was like, he's got no record against the Buffalo Bills.
He'll never beat the Bills. He'll never lose to the Bills because he'll never leave the Bills.
I hope he plays his entire career here, and it could be a possibility if he's still cooking, but we'll see.
All right. So
what's the most interesting game on the schedule for you fellas? Looking at it right now, I would say if I was looking at it,
I'm going to cut you off because I just came across my mind and made me salty.
Okay.
I was watching Get Up yesterday, and Ryan Clark. What's that?
I can't believe you watched that show.
It's entertaining sometimes. They usually talk about the same things. They talk about Aaron Rodgers, they talk about LeBron, and that's pretty much it. But anyway, Ryan Clark was giving his top 5 AFC teams. You know where the Bills are ranked?
Not unranked.
5.
Wow.
You know, it's like Emmanuel Acho. He gave up top 5 and the Bills weren't in it.
His rankings were the Chiefs, the Ravens at 2, the Bengals, the Jets, and the Bills.
OBJ all of a sudden bumped the Raiders up to like top tier status.
Ravens?
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to be like a 500 football team.
Yeah. I mean, don't even get me started.
Sorry. I just came across my mind and then.
It's frustrating because it's like, I don't know how you put the Ravens over. Whatever.
We gotta, maybe in a little bit, we gotta do our top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC. That list that we did last year.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
All I'm saying, I was right on the Derek Carr being better than Russell Wilson.
You were.
Not by much because Derek Carr wasn't that good, but
yeah, Jared Stidham.
Anyway, back to what the game I'm looking forward to this year. It's gonna be Cincinnati game because they absolutely whooped us in that playoff game. Like, there's no doubt about it. They just outplayed us and everything. I think we're gonna want a little bit of revenge for them coming into our house and just pretty much beating us.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the more interesting games. I like the look of if the Eagles are looking at how they did last season, right? And they look like the defending NFC champions that played in the Super Bowl and really put up a fight against the Chiefs. That'll be a good game. That one I think is very interesting to see how the Bills stack up against the top of the NFC. I think that one's my most interesting.
I don't know. I'm going to cheat and say 2 just because, not because of the matchup, but playing in London and having that game be at 9:30 and be done by like noon. I think that's going to be like a really bizarre kind of feeling of just sitting on my couch watching Red Zone after the Bills game's over.
Yeah.
kind of mood I am if they want to lose. Like we've had that experience of Sunday Night Football, of like having the whole day of football. Then the Bills game would be interesting. The opposite effect of having Bills game then all day of football. But we're talking matchup. I mean, it's the Chiefs. I mean, it's also because there's a bye right before it, so there's really going to be 2 weeks of CBS and every program, hyping up, especially if they come into Philadelphia and win the week before.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they're on CBS primetime, right? They're at their 425.
Yeah, they have a lot of those. Like, and
what
Fox,
is it going to take for the Bills to get a home game against the Chiefs?
If they both win their divisions next year, they play in Buffalo. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say they both win their divisions. If they both finish in the same places in their respective divisions.
Because it seems like we always play the Chiefs in Kansas City. We always played the Titans in Tennessee. It was like
it was like the Steelers. The Steelers for 3 straight years came to Buffalo.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, it's how they do the division. Like in 20, it was they played the AFC, but Kansas City was here, but it was COVID. 21 was the first place game. 22 was the first place game. This year they're playing the AFC West, but you flip from home to away. And now next year is first place. I think it's 3 straight in Buffalo. If obviously they win their divisions.
Well, we will, so it's all right.
Oh.
Already a prediction there. All right. So now
Jets go 9-8, calling it now.
I would love to see it. Trust me. I really would after all the hype they're getting and whatnot. They're doing the slow edits to fake AI Drake on their TikTok account right now with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. I'm like, okay. Yeah, the TikToks. But what game can you look at the schedule right now and be like, okay, that's a win? And don't cop out and say the Commanders or anything like that. Like let's pick a decent game and say they can win or something. But I mean,
the home opener.
All right. I guess. Yeah.
So
I don't think they're gonna lose their home. I'm just saying, I don't think they're gonna lose their home opener to the Raiders.
It's a bold take. The Raiders are looking pretty good this season.
Yeah, Jimmy G. Woot woot.
You know what? I'll be super bold. You know what game they're gonna win? They're gonna win the Brian Daboll revenge game.
That's what. Yeah, that was a contender.
The Giants are not going to be as good as they were last year.
Listen. They're matching up against $40 million quarterbac's. What a battle!
Yeah.
What a battle! Danny Dollars and Josh Allen.
$3 million less than Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's the NFL for you.
I can guarantee a blowout win against the Cowboys December 17th. That's what I can guarantee.
If Daniel Jones makes $40 million, Joe Burrow's about to make like 60.
So look at Herbert.
But he said he's like, I'm looking at my teammates and their big paydays too. He doesn't want to probably lose Jamar.
Oh, you really don't like Joe Burrow, huh? You're anti-Burrow.
Now he's headband Joe. Did you see that video? CBS is posting this stuff now. CBS. Like, come on, what's going on here? Let's move on.
Yeah, we have
if he never transferred to LSU, like
that's right. Okay, I got quick sidebar. I really hate when college players in any sport transfer to different schools and the other school that they were originally in calls them their own. No, bro, he left. Like, everyone's saying, oh, how I stay quarterbacks, like with CJ Stroud and Justin Fields, and it's like, oh no, we have to add in Joe Burrow. Like, do you think Georgia's adding in Justin Fields because he transferred from Georgia? No. Like,
Kyler Murray, Texas A&M.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
Baker Mayfield, Texas Tech.
Yeah, like this is what I hate about it. It's like, dude, they
Josh Allen's community college.
Yeah, Reedling or whatever. Yeah, you can't own them. I'm sorry. The community college is a little different. Community college is a tad bit different. I'll give that one a slight pass because that's different.
I agree. Once you transfer, that's it.
But like, I just hate when they're like, oh no, you got to think of Joe Burrow still has it. No,
Cam Newton, Florida.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, when he does his player intro for CBS for NBC, doesn't go Joe Burrow, LSU and Ohio State. No, it just goes LSU. Like, no, you don't get to own players after they transfer. There's a reason why they left your school.
Yeah.
And you're right. He wouldn't have done that. Even after his first year in LSU, he would have been a 6th round. He would have been a day 3 pick. So no, you don't get to own players once they transfer. It's a big gripe I have.
Joe Shiesty.
Sorry, little side.
Well, getting feisty.
Gripe as it may be, what's a game you can predict an L? The Bills are taking an L. Is there one? Are they going 17-0? Is the real question. Is there a game that you can pick that they lose? I got to take a minute and look.
I think they'll lose 1 to Miami.
You think?
Yeah.
I think they'll lose in Miami.
The last game of the season, they lose.
I could see it, honestly.
Can't go out like that. Can't go out. I cannot support. I respect the decision, but I cannot support. I feel like
it's not one that I'm guaranteeing. I could just see them losing.
Here's the thing.
I gotta say, I kind of like. I don't know. I really like the first half of the Bills' schedule.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The Bills have a track record of losing a really poor game to a really poor team at some point in the season, right?
Really? Name the team last year.
2 years ago. Jacksonville Jaguars 9-3, one of the worst teams in the league, coached by Urban Meyer. You blew that game 9-6, whatever. So
I will say
I think the Commanders blow us out. I think
last year the Bills had wins in games they should have won.
What team did you say?
I think the Commanders blow us out.
Like I said,
it was more of
I think last year we didn't have that bad loss. We just had bad wins.
Yeah. No,
like
yeah.
The Cleveland win.
Ugly wins. There's nothing as a bad win. It's an ugly win.
I think
whatever.
We played in Detroit.
Whatever synonym you want to use.
Hey, like my boy Nikola Jokic said last night, doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 20, a win is a win.
Wait, your boy's Jokic? I thought you were LeBron lover.
I'm not gonna say the word, but no, I mean I like LeBron. I like Jokic. I don't know.
I mean, what happens if Broncos country actually rides and like
no
problem?
They're gonna the game. I'm pretty confident.
They send Ben DiNucci.
Did you hear what Sean Payton said about him? Should look for a job at a McDonald's or something. He said.
No, he said you should look at the green job at Walmart because the Walmart owners own Broncos, so that's why.
Oh! I thought he was straight up telling him like, "Dude saw you, and you should just look out for that."
Week 12, they're gonna lose in Philadelphia. Josh is only gonna be able to get that one off in the Super Bowl. They're a week before the bye. They would have played 12 games. I think they would be pretty tired. In Philadelphia is a tough place to play. Philadelphia is a very physical football team. Maybe not the best overall. We'll see if the moves the Bills made, if they improve on the line of scrimmage, but there's a real chance that Philadelphia kind of just bullies them out of the link. So I would say if the most likely losses, I would say in Philadelphia.
I would agree with you most likely. I think a closet.
Stop talking.
I think a closet loss. Hang on. I think a closet loss that could possibly happen, right, is to the Jaguars in London. I'm not even going to lie to you because the Jags have really come into their image, and Doug Peterson is a good coach. So I think that is kind of a closet like burner team that could sneak up on the Bills and whatnot. Not like they did with Urban Meyer 2 years ago where we just played bad. Like this has a possibility to be a pretty good game, and then just whatever happens. But that, again, not a guarantee. I feel like I can't guarantee that we'll lose. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are chances, but I can't sit here and say
to win either.
Huh? No, I can't. That's what I'm saying though. Like the schedules at this point, looking at it, is we could lose, we could win. I don't know. I can't guarantee which one.
Do that for every single game.
Yeah, the Bills play I said the Bills are going to most likely lose week 12. The Bills in week 12 may be a very different team. Think about around that time last year, they had Von Miller, blew out his knee. They weren't the same team.
Don't speak things into existence like that. We're coming back to this clip if something happens in week 12. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Gonna put a voodoo mask on you.
Bring it on.
But all right. I can't. That's just week 12. You're right though. Something could happen. Like Josh's UCL got injured last year, right? Like
anything is possible.
Now you're like speaking into this. I just brought up the fact that they were a different team because of the injury. All right, I'm gonna segue this. So Joe Marino on Lockdown Bills combined a lot of podcasters, we were not included, about the top 10 players for this coming season, top 10 most important players. I have changed it up a little bit, and I say the top 10 most important people in the organization. But I'm adding coaching because I think.
The Bills, you said?
Yes. So together we will comply 10 people, and then we could potentially put them in the list if you want. Joe, you might want to write this down.
Okay.
You know, let's pick our 10 people, and then we'll put them in a list.
Okay. We're doing a universal 10 people?
You said include coaches and personnel?
Okay. So I think the two coaches we have to include, because I think there's two coaches that have to be included. One is Sean McDermott, because the pressure is starting to, I'm not saying he's on the hot seat or anything, even if I don't think they won the Super Bowl. I don't think he's going to get axed anytime soon, but him taking the reins of the defensive coordinator, I think he's got to be on the list.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think Ken Dorsey has to be on the list. All right, that's two. If I say someone you don't agree with, stop.
Okay.
Number three is for now talking about like players. Josh Allen has to be on the list.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew. I should.
Once you gave verbal confirmation that we could do that,
should have done Reed Ferguson or something. All right, so that's three people. I think Diggs has to be on the list because it's the offense. That's where it gets tough.
DeAndre Hopkins,
Von Miller.
Von has to be on the list. That's 5.
Yeah.
I think Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White both have to be on the list because they're coming off injuries as well. I know Trey played the last, but like I think they're important because if they could go back to the elite status they were.
What about Milano?
I think Milano has to be.
Yeah, I would put Milano on the list.
And then we have 2 spots open.
Bean?
No, I'm not putting no. Poyer, okay. Poyer's we already have Hyde.
Kincaid?
I think Kincaid has to be on the list.
Knox?
No, not Knox. And I think the last spot
Snowman?
The last spot has to come down to Snowman, Knox. Not
Rousseau?
Knox. Knox is out. Yeah, Rousseau, Snowman, Spencer Brown. I'm not saying best player, Michael. I'm saying most important. If he sucks again, we're screwed. There's not a right tackle on the roster that could.
All right, everyone, just cover your ears for a second.
I can't believe you just did that. All right, you know what, Joe? I'll let you pick the 10th player.
The 10th player. I mean, I would have Knox on there before Kincaid because Kincaid's a rookie.
Yeah, but I think Kincaid's more important.
He stopped mid-sip.
I disagree with that, so no. Let's do a vote. Does Dawson Knox get the last spot over? No, does Dawson Knox get over Kincaid? I vote no.
No. Why are you raising your hand? Just say no.
I don't know. It's for visual effects. All right, that was a 2-1 vote no.
I say it's Snowman.
I'm trying to think last player.
This is a lot harder than I thought.
Definitely not Spencer Brown. Snowman is definitely.
I would have picked Spencer.
I'm picking Snowman. I think he's number 10.
I think we're so honorable mentions to Knox, Brown, Greg Rousseau, Poyer, and for the 5th one, I'll give a shout out to
Kyle Allen.
No, his name just invaded me.
Who is it?
No, it wasn't T-Vast. God, now
what position?
Gabe?
No, Gabe. Thank you. All right. So, did you get the list
Gabe
down?
Davis? I will right now. Run it through again one more time.
All right.
1.
Sean McDermott. Ken Dorsey.
2. Dorsey. 3.
Josh Allen.
4.
Miller.
It's a killer instead of Miller. That's what he is. Though.
5 was what? Hyde, you said?
Hyde. Tre'Davious White.
Trey White, Milano, who almost
Kincaid.
injured himself playing softball the other day. Kincaid.
And Snowman.
We got 9 and then 10.
Did you get Hyde?
God dang it, we're missing someone.
Yeah, we are missing someone.
Did you get Diggs?
No.
All right, so now we got to put them in order.
Oh, God.
Diggs, and then Milano, Kincaid, Snowman.
Number 1 is Josh.
Are we doing that kind of order?
Number 2 is McDermott.
Wait, hey, hold on. Hold on a second. This is a democracy, not a dictatorship. Palpatine.
All right. Number 1, I would agree.
It was actually a
Josh
republic
Allen.
he was leading until he disbanded the Senate.
Yeah, that became the Galactic Empire. Okay, maybe I stop.
All right. We have to make a separate podcast for Star Wars. Believe me, there's a lot of conversations that can roll everywhere. But
yeah, there's a certain conversation about what happened on the proceedings on Mustafar.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Yeah,
Maybe should we start that? Let us know. Should we start an alternative show all about Star Wars? Just let us know in the
pop
comments.
culture.
Some pop
The
culture.
Star Wars-Lonian podcast.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Wait a sec. You know what I realized? The Buffalonian, the Mandalorian. It's similar.
Change
Both
the logo.
ends in, so
Change the logo to the Mandalorian, but it says the Buffalonian.
all right. Get this show back. Number
All right.
one. Number one is all right.
I knew it. As soon as you were going to start talking, I knew that was going to happen.
Listen. You might be getting mad that we're not talking about Boba Fett. Okay, so number one is definitely Josh. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think when you're a elite quarterback, is always going to be the most important player because if he goes down, even if he gets hindered, we saw last year of injury, your season's kind of in trouble.
Yeah.
Number two, Mike said McDermott.
I just said that because he's going to be calling defensive plays now.
Yeah, I'll agree. I honestly, I think I'm not trying to put our coaches too high, but I do think McDermott and Dorsey should be like 2-3 because Dorsey has to be able to use.
I don't want to put our coaches too high, but I'm going to give them 2 and 3.
Okay. So Allen, McDermott, Dorsey. 4.
Number 4, I think, is Vaughn.
Yeah.
Coming off injury. If he's the elite self he was at the beginning of last year.
5, I'd say is Hyde.
Yeah, got another elite player, all pro. If he can get back to where he was, that would be
maybe
crucial.
Trey at 6.
I would agree with Trey.
7.
What do we have left? Snowman, Kincaid,
Diggs,
and Milano.
Diggs is 7.
Okay, wait.
Too low,
Hyde who?
Hyde, White, Diggs.
Okay.
Diggs might be a little too low, but that's okay. So then we have Kincaid, Snowman.
I put Snowman next.
Who's the 10th? I'm blanking on Milano.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Milano is 8.
Yeah, before the Snowman.
Wait, 7?
We're at 8.
Oh,
right. So our list so far: 1, Allen; 2, McDermott; 3, Dorsey; 4, Vaughn; 5, Micah Hyde; 6, Trey White; 7, Diggs; 8, Milano; 9, Deion Dawkins, and that leaves Dalton Kincaid.
I think Kincaid's over Dawkins.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
I would actually
vote on it.
It's one spot at the bottom of the list. I don't care.
Yeah, I would keep. I honestly, I'd put Dawkins above just because.
All right, then Michael, you have to vote.
I'm gonna be different from you, Dom, and I'm gonna say Dawkins and Kincaid.
All right.
That's also what I believe. I don't think Kincaid's
okay, you could have just said that. You could have just said that instead of taking a shot, but that's okay. Yeah, I think Kincaid though. Shot. Oh my god.
I'll grab the ski.
Kincaid, I think will help with the own struggles. So yeah.
Dalton Kincaid, slot wide receiver.
So I have one more thing to add before we could go to the Sabres talk.
Yeah, this is the longest Bills talk we've had in a long time. We're running like 40 minutes here. We're cooking.
God, you can read. Josh Allen hit bombs in the Micah Hyde softball, then hit bombs in BP.
Yeah.
So I have to ask the question: if we went to our local little league and played soft toss softball, and you had 10 swings, how many bombs are you hitting out?
Are we talking like a child is throwing them to
me? Are we going to like Vets Park and like one of us standing on the mound and then like the little league field like next to the snack stand?
I did say like the local little league, so yes.
Let's do it. Why are we predicting it?
I'm predicting like I maybe get contact on one and it breaches the fence. I don't think I'm knocking one out.
I don't know. It's 200 feet.
Yeah, it's not. You could definitely knock one out of there, Mike.
I don't know. I'm not that strong.
Mike, kids do it.
Mike, we were playing a freaking baseballs the one time you hit a line drive right back at me.
Hey, we had I said to put the net thing there.
I didn't. Okay, you were not making contact at all. So I was like, all right, I don't need this thing.
That was your own mistake.
First ball, line drive right back at my head. Like
that was your own mistake, man. If I had played baseball, I would have just like that would have been like probably the thing I did the most was just beam it right straight back at the pitcher.
I think I could get, if I could hit good contact, I think I could get 2 out.
I would be right around there. I feel like a couple, like definitely.
Wait,
but
softballs or baseballs?
softballs.
Like slow pitch softball.
Yeah,
Yes,
you've got so
softball.
much surface area to just get a hold of it, as opposed to a baseball.
No, I was never a baseball
You get the special softballs that travel in the air. They carry.
Did you see? There was like a post I saw, I think on Sports Center, and it was like the game. It was like it was baseball, but like the ball, it like
Oh,
it was like one of those special. It was like one of those special balls that like dip.
Ball.
No, it wasn't wiffle ball.
It was
Blitz
a specially
ball.
designed baseball.
It was what?
Blitz.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
He thought he said wiffle ball.
I did think you said wiffle ball.
No crap, wiffle ball can wave around everywhere.
I remember last year in one of my classes we did like you had to run like a sporting event, and one of them was wiffle ball, and I absolutely smoked one, but it was in a gym, so it hit the ceiling and I broke the ball.
And you think you only hit one home
Thing
run?
would have gone 400, maybe 500 feet if it was a baseball. And by that, I mean like maybe 40, 50 feet.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's another thing we should try. I feel like that'd be kind of cool to put that to the test and see.
A home run derby?
Yes. The Buffalonian home run derby. I like the sound of it. Dom, what do you think?
What about a softball game?
I think we should make a beer league softball team. I truly do. And I think we should enter. Because I think we have a genuine shot of winning there.
Who's playing on this team?
Us three.
Our friends.
Us three. Your brother, Mooch. Chunk's our catcher.
Dropped.
He's our designated hitter.
Chunk could be a catcher. What are you talking about?
Chunk's our designated hitter.
Oh my god, I have a joke to make and I don't want to make it.
We make the Bad News Bears look confident.
Okay. Can you
So now, fellas, I think on the topic of our beer league softball game, I think that's wrapping it up. We'll get more details out there if that ever becomes a thing, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that's going to do it for the Bills talk today. Again, let us know. I'm going to be posting our list of the top 10 people, most important members in the Bills organization. If you agree, just let us know. If you disagree, tell us why. But we'll be talking some Sabres momentarily here, and we'll be right back with more right after this.
We are back here with the Buffalonian Podcast, transitioning from our Bills talk into our now Sabres talk, with just Mike and I at the proper moment because Joe is having some technical difficulties. So you get to hear my lovely voice lead us into this intense talk. So the first thing up on the docket is so far so good for the Amerks in their series against the Toronto Marlies. They're winning 2-0, and they play tonight, actually, on Wednesday, on the day of this recording, to potentially take care of the Marlies and win at home to sweep them 3-0. Subban's played pretty well. Kulik has a couple of goals. Rosine scored. They dominated game 2. They almost blew game 1, but they played pretty solid. And now the Marlies are in so fear of the Amerks that they have now allowed Joseph Wall, the goaltender that started game 5 for the Maple Leafs in their losing series to the Panthers, will now probably take the net after the Amerks chased the starting goaltender for the Marlies in game 1 and 2. So should be an interesting series throughout, and we'll see. Hopefully, next week they're moving on to the.
Is that best of 3 out of 5, or is it 4?
It's a best of 5. I think it's a best of 5, and then they're in like the Eastern Conference Finals, which is the best of 7, and then the actual Calder Cup Finals. So they got 2 more rounds after this one. Hopefully they win in advance. So that does it for the Amerks talk. Now transitioning to our actual Sabres talk. Well, transitioning to the Sabres part of the Sabres talk, I should say, Sabres portion. Connor Hellebuyck has been in the news, as the Sabres have been linked to Connor Hellebuyck from, I believe it was an Athletic article. Connor Hellebuyck has 1 year left at $6.1 million, is a former Vezina-winning goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets. Had a pretty good season last year as well. So the question I asked you, Michael, should the Sabres pursue Hellebuyck?
I'd say no, because he is on a 1 year deal. And if you're going to extend him, he's probably going to want a long-term deal for like top dollar. So I would say no. I think giving up wise too, like the assets you're going to give up, like I know we have a lot of prospects and picks that we can afford to give up to try and contend now, but like I don't know if I'm willing to do that for like a 1-year rental for a goalie because I don't think you want to sign Hellebuck long term anyway when you have Devin Levi that you expect to be your franchise goalie. I think a more not likely, but I think someone else you'd consider bringing in. I think you made this point. I don't know if it was last week, a few weeks ago, whatever. Was Saros from Nashville? Because I know you made the points that like he's undersized. He's smaller, like Levi. He kind of plays that same game, and he signed for. I know he's not signed much longer, but a few more years, so I can give Devin Levi that time to develop. I do agree that the Sabres have to make a move for a starting goaltender because I think it would be a mistake to have Devin Levi be your number one goaltender going into the season. Like truly, I still support him starting in Rochester. I do. I've seen, Spencer Knight, Carter Hart, they've had really good rookie seasons and then they just fell off. I think it takes. What'd you say?
I said teams get a scouting report on what you like to do.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I mean, Hellebuck is a good goaltender, no doubt. Like he would be your number one, but I just don't think for what we'd have to give up and like him only being on a 1-year deal, like it just doesn't make sense. I think for the Sabres because I really don't think it would make sense to give him an extension either.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting because it's also like, what does Winnipeg want? Does Winnipeg want to like tear everything down? They want futures, or do they want like an asset like I don't know, like do they want UPL or do they want like a Paterka who's like already in the NHL? Like, do they want the prospects at the NHL level, or do they want prospects, that are a couple years away? So yeah. I think that's where it gets a little interesting. Hellebuck obviously would change the complexion of the team. Like it would immediately make them. I would say cup contenders. I don't know if I would put them at like the top 5. So it would easily cost the first and probably a pretty good prospect, even if it's only a 1-year deal. And I think the problem for me of Hellebuck is why I can't fully get around for it is one, the extension, because he's going to want Bob got 10 mil, I want to say. From
Bobrovsky is like 11.
So he's double digit. He's double digit.
Double digits.
He's 8 figures. Okay, I was gonna say double figures. He has an 8-figure salary, and I think Hellebuck definitely probably deserves. Well, one, he deserves it because he's been one of the better goalies for a couple of years now, and I just don't think the Sabres really should be in the market to do that kind of contract extension. And also one of the big reasons why you get a Connor Hellebuck is this guy is like one of the true number one goaltenders. There's only like 5 of them maybe in the entire NHL who are going to play 60, 65 games, and your backup's going to play like 20 maximum, unless they don't get injured. So at that point, like, what is Levi at that point? Like, one of the big values of having Hellebuck is him being good for 60 games. But at that point, if you're putting him in like more of a 45-35 split with Levi, like you're kind of diminishing Hellebuck's potential value as well. So I would agree. Saros is probably a better option. Saros is probably going to be more expensive because I believe he's younger and he has 1 more year left. He has 2 years left, and he's at a cheaper cap hit. So, and I think he actually might be better. But for me, I think we're gonna see some kind of veteran goal like Freddie Anderson. I think Grant has one of those Carolina goaltenders who's always injured though. But yeah, I would assume that would be the moving goal. But Hellebuck is a nice player. You would obviously change the team. It would just matter like what is the asking price for the Jets, and like is it possible to get in there's no way you're gonna get the extension though at the same number of 6.1 though, and that's the big problem.
No, I'd say I agree with you that it's definitely like at least 10.
At that point, I don't know. I just think paying goaltender $10 million when you have Levi who's making under $1 million for the next 2 years, and then he'll need an extension, even if you bridge goalie. So even if you bridge him and he gets 4 point, then you would be putting $14 million in the goaltending, and you'd really hope that the cap would go up at that point in my mind. So again, then you'd have 2 good goaltenders, and it's kind of like both should be starters, but then you both can't give them like the starter games, and then that stink at that point. They needed like a lower starter. Like they don't need like a top 5 starter. They need like a top half of the league starter. And so
no, I agree. I think someone who could just shelter Levi in his rookie season.
Yeah, I would say I would do that and then have Comrie still. And then my second point, really, relating to Hellebuyck, is we're gonna get into like prospects probably next week or the week after of who's available at 13. But are you interested in moving 13? Are you keeping 13? I know last year they had 3 first-round picks, and I said that they should have traded one. They did technically were going to try and trade one to trade up to get Matt Murray in his contract. So I guess I don't know if that would have counted, but would you trade 13 for an actual piece for right now, or would you keep 13? What is your gut?
I guess if we could get a top, I don't know. It's tough because like I know we need to add a top 4 defenseman, and I just don't know if like the 13th overall pick, like depending on who we get, like is that too much?
I'm not saying Romanov's a great player, but he's kind of like that fringe top. Didn't he go for 13 last year from the Islanders?
Yeah, he went for a first-round pick. I know.
Yeah, I think he went 13.
Like I guess I wouldn't trade it for anyone unless it's like a top 4 D-man. Because, like, I know this is a really deep draft class, too. So, but there is a certain point where you have just too many prospects. So, it's like they don't have spots on the roster. So, you have to make a move for a player who can play now. But I don't support I'm not saying I support the strategy of selling your draft picks and prospects, because we've seen, like, it doesn't, like, long-term, it's bad when you deplete your prospect pool. Like, just you gotta always have a nice prospect pool. But I think the Sabres could afford to trade the 13th overall pick because I think it's valuable enough to where you could get a legit player, but it's not like high enough to where it's like you can't part from it.
Sure.
I would have to agree with that. I think trading your 13th pick is not the worst idea, considering we do have still quite a big prospect pool and whatnot. And if we could get a defenseman that could play now and really help the team out. Yes, I am back from my internet issues, for those of you who are wondering. I think it would be a great move, honestly, to get someone who's ready to play now and fill the void we need filled on the defensive side of the ice,
I feel like we would more than likely draft a defenseman anyway. So if we were to trade it for a defenseman, that's like kind of picking that defenseman.
Yeah,
I feel like we need a defense. Like, always draft BPA, but like I think we have so many forward prospects, and we just don't have that many defensive prospects where we need to like get in that.
Yeah,
like our top prospect on defense is Ryan Johnson. He probably won't even sign. So
yeah, we still don't know about him. And like after that, who's 2? Is it Lindgren? Who was a 4th-round pick? Is it?
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty significant drop off after
Novikov,
yeah. So I think
I don't know.
Yeah, I would keep it though. So I would only trade 13 if I know for a fact I'm getting a young defenseman with term.
Yeah,
and I just don't think that's really out. I don't know like who's willing to part with that because that's a pretty valuable asset of itself. But 13 in a good class is more like in a weak class, like maybe the 10th or 9th pick. So I do think the Sabres, with the way that they've been drafting recently, especially in the first round, can get like a really good either top 6 forward or maybe a top end defenseman if they fall. Maybe they trade up. Maybe they're like, all right, we'll take on some salary cap and we'll move up with, I don't know. I think Vancouver, we take Tyler Myers back for a year.
Tyler Myers, Calder winner.
11. Like I saw that get thrown out there. That's not a bad idea. But no, for me, I'm not anti-Sabres trading a first-round pick this offseason, but I think if they can find a way to avoid trading 13, because I think there's a possibility that's the last lottery pick they pick for a while. So if they find a way to like trade maybe a protected 24, and even if you don't make the playoffs in 24, then that pick gets unprotected for 25, and by 25 they should be making the playoffs. So that's going to be like the 20th pick in 25. You still would have traded for an asset for a first round pick, but it wouldn't be as valuable as 13 because of the unknown and being 2 years later. But if I was a Sabres, I'd like to trade like a protected 24 pick rather than my 13th pick. But again, the 13th pick probably has more value. Well, I would have more value.
Might be able to get a little more from it. Absolutely.
No, I mean, it makes sense because then if we're expecting to make the playoffs, like protect the lottery pick so that just in case, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, like to see what they're gonna do. Like
if I had
it's interesting because like Kevin Adams has been so like build from within and all that and like develop and whatever. And like I think that's a really smart strategy. But I think there's a time when you need to make like a trade to bring in someone and like maybe sign a free agent or something, just to fill in like something for now.
Yeah, like I don't know. I would only trade the 13th pick for a young defenseman. I'm not in it for a forward. I don't think
definitely not a forward.
And I really think goaltender. I mean, maybe if it's Saros, maybe if you could holler back on an extension, maybe. But I just think even trading for a goaltender, Swayman's not worth a 13th pick. So I would only do it if I could get a legitimate young top four defenseman that has a contract that I can fit under my books for the foreseeable future. But
I agree.
We are starting our player
I'm excited
grades.
for this next one.
Oh, thank you.
We're
starting the player grades. So as that people might not know, last year we go line to line pretty much, and then we go extras, and then we're gonna go pair to pair to pair extras, and then we're gonna go goaltending, kind of all in one episode. So it should take 4. We might put the extras
about a month.
So 4 episodes on forwards, 3 episodes on D, 1 goaltender. So this is gonna take us, an 8-week journey for player grades. Starting up for our top
2 months.
Yeah. We gotta somehow get content and a little bit of
off season
area. But Jeff Skinner, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch.
I
think it's this isn't going to be a long talk because I think it's A across the board for everyone.
Across the board. A across the board. Easy. That line was so productive all season. And even when one of them was out, like they still produced. You know what I mean? Middlestad. I mean, I guess that's a testament to him as well. But when Tage was out, I mean, he was cooking up there with those two. And it's
Tage proved that he's like that top line center, and that he's like a star in this league. Skinner showed that he's still like a legit playmaking scoring threat, and that he just got Kruger essentially. And I think Tuch kind of broke out and showed that he can be a top 6 forward and can be a leader on this team. So I think it's easy to give them all A's.
Yeah.
All had career years. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Tuch 79 points, 74 games. Skinner had 82 and 79. Thompson 94, I believe in 78 or something like that. So yeah, I mean they all had career years, as you pointed out. The offensive production was there. I just think, for me, is there a possibility where we can still get the same offense, but maybe improve just to be a little bit better, a little bit smarter defensively? Maybe not even. I don't even want to say like give a better defense, like because they want to get out on the break and they hang around the blue line, so they never, and that's how they get their offense. So they're never going to be plus defenders. But is it possible for when they have the puck in their own zone, be just a little bit smarter with the puck and not turn over? Like talking mostly about Tage. Love Tage's depth, but he had especially when he was injured a little bit, he had some turnovers in the middle of the ice on his own zone that you can't really afford to do. But that would be the only like growth I want to see from that line, is maybe be a tad bit more better defensively, and also I guess on the power play not be so reliant on Tage. But yeah, all 3 had a great year. So now I have to ask, because we had to break a tie somehow. We all gave them A's, which is I think are all well deserved. But how would you rank their seasons?
I'd put hot take. Tage is 3, Skinner 2, Tuch 1.
Yeah, Mike, that's not steaming. I would actually somewhat agree with that.
No, that's kind of steaming.
That is.
I don't know about that.
But it's like the Jurassic Park, second straight week I put the Jurassic Park where you see the pile of poop when it's like steaming because of that.
Oh my God. When they put the Commanders logo on the Bills schedule thing, the one video that's been circulating. But I don't think I can kind of go with Mike on that one. I feel like
it's definitely steaming.
No, it's steam. I can agree that it's steaming, but that's just how I feel. I think
Tuck definitely had the best season out of
best
all.
offensive season in the last 18 years of Sabres hockey since Briere.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Tuck just was better two-way than Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Tuck was also more consistent throughout the year than Thompson. I know he had a cold stretch for a little bit. And then I think Skinner just he kind of changed his game, being more of a playmaker than just a goal scorer this year.
Damn, I can't believe this.
So
yeah, I'm gonna go Tage, Tuck, Skinner. I just think Tage, he was such a superstar. I think a lot of him slowing down was because via injury, which I don't know how much you can blame him for that, really.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuck was the lead. I mean, you saw him when he was out of the lineup, how much they missed him. And then Skinner was just very consistent throughout the year. Didn't seem like he had a lot of lulls. He was very consistent. Tuck, pretty consistent. Tage a little more up and down, so I could see why you would put him in 3, a little bit more up and down. But I mean, his high was just so high, where
right, you're saying his ceiling was higher than both of theirs.
I think if we were having this discussion with a month left in the season, there would be no doubt it'd be Tage 1. He didn't end the season very well, but that's also because he was dealing. I mean, you got to give him credit for trying to battle through injuries, but he just wasn't quite the same. But I'll give respect to my boy Tage.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so that. I mean, that's week 1 on this 2-month journey on the NHL, the Sabres rankings.
It's only going to get more difficult from here, but
yeah.
So now we talked the Amex portion of the Sabres talk. Now we talk the Sabres portion. Finally, we'll talk NHL. I actually have a thought before we talk about the playoffs.
Okay.
Arizona rejects the Coyotes' request for a new arena. Does anyone have any thoughts where they're going, and how would that potentially maybe impact the Sabres in the NHL moving forward?
I think they're going to Sacramento because we've seen a lot of the Sacramento's they have a market for hockey that's been growing, and I think they want to keep the team west. They want to keep it in that Sun Belt area. Obviously they're going to keep them in the West Conference, but I think this is just the nail in the coffin for Arizona hockey.
Yeah, I would agree. But I will say this: they're going to Houston. I've been on the Houston train for multiple years, so I can't jump off it now. Especially now that it's more likely that's going to happen than ever before.
Yeah,
Sacramento Coyotes.
But we'll see.
I agree. They're going to stay in the South or the West, in that area. They're definitely not moving up north anywhere. I don't really, you know what I mean?
The Quebec Coyotes.
The Quebec. Oh my God, that'd be horrible. They could go play with the Toronto Irish for all we care. Sorry, I had to.
I will say this: I think it makes it interesting, especially if they relocate. And if the NHL wants to add more teams, I think we're going to see smaller divisions coming up. I think there's a chance where instead of having 2 8-man division teams, I think we could potentially have 3 6-man if it goes to 36. I think there's real
that could make things interesting in our division as well with how competitive it is.
I mean, take up some things. It would be more you saw it in the COVID year how the Bills, oh my God, the Sabres, they played, obviously they couldn't play in Canada, so it'd be a little bit, the teams would be a little bit more different because they couldn't play in Canada, but they played the Capitals, the Penguins, Bruins.
The division would probably be, if it's 6, it'd probably be Sabres, Leafs, Senators, Canadiens, Bruins, and maybe Detroit.
Not Detroit. Detroit.
Yeah.
The Northeast Division. Detroit's in Central USA, my guy.
They're in the Atlantic time zone. They're in the Great Lakes region.
He's right. He's right.
Pittsburgh and Philadelphia would be better options than Detroit.
I think you'd keep that Great Lakes region.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Detroit would be.
I think the one division would be the Islanders, the Rangers, the Devils, the Flyers, the Penguins, and the Capitals. Why wouldn't that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they keep it. What's your 6th team that division with the Sabres? I keep saying I'm trying to say the Bills. It's so annoying.
Red Wings, Sabres, Bruins, Habs, Sens, Leafs.
I don't know. I think no, that makes sense. That did make some sense. I just don't think Detroit would be in the division, to be honest. I just don't think that would.
Yeah, because it makes more sense to be Rangers,
Well,
Islanders, Devils, Capitals, Penguins, Flyers.
I don't know. I think if they were doing
they're all like right there.
Yeah, but if they were doing massive changes to the divisions, I feel like Detroit would be with Chicago. I think Minnesota. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that. I don't know. It also matters. Maybe Quebec gets a team, and it's Quebec, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa.
I don't know. That's just how I'd see it with current.
Or Hartford gets their team back.
No way.
No, there's no chance. 0% chance of happening. But it's fun to talk about. Back where we were. 4 teams left. Stars versus Vegas, and the big Florida versus Carolina.
I was really hoping my second prediction of the Panthers and Kraken was gonna hit, but unfortunately not.
Who are we rooting for? Who are you guys rooting for, and why?
Even though it'll cost me $5, I'll root for the Panthers.
Ah, my guy.
Because
I think that's who I would. I don't either. I don't want to see the Golden
Jack
Knights
hoist the
succeed.
Stanley Cup. I don't like Dallas.
No.
I don't want to see Peter DeBoer. I don't like Peter DeBoer. In
Why?
Carolina, I don't know. I think he's a fraud coach.
His son went to your school.
I would like to see Sam Reinhart.
Oh, wow. So I got to instantly like him, a scratched player on Niagara Hockey. Wow.
Who's his name? One of his who is the former Calgary's coach before Suter?
Calgary's coach?
Ward. Something Ward, Flames.
Yeah, Jeff Ward.
Yeah, his son went to Canisius.
Oh, so you're a Jeff Ward fan?
No, he got fired, so I'm off the hook.
But
for my $5
Peter DeBoer has success in his first season, and that's it.
I like Jared Gallant. Yeah, I'll bet my $5 bet. I'm okay with Samson getting the cup. I don't know if certain reporters in the Buffalo News would be too happy about that, but I don't want Jack. Jack is definitely 4 out of 4. I don't want Carolina winning.
Yeah,
I don't like Carolina. And Dallas, I wouldn't mind Dallas. I like Andrew. He's chill. He was not very good the last series though, so if he doesn't play that well, I think Jack's going to the cup final, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather see. I'm gonna go with the Panthers as well. I mean, Sam Reinhart. I would love to see that. I do not want Jack Eichel by any means. Like, that's not happening. Because all I've seen on Instagram captions: playoff period, Jack period, Eichel period, and I do not want to see any more of that. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see that game. All of them just murked, like they're gone. Like the Golden Knights are out of the running. So not Jack Eichel. And to go for a team with some old Sabres on it, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Panthers. But
I'll predict it goes Dallas in 6, Panthers in 7.
I'll predict it goes Panthers in 7, Vegas in 6.
I think Panthers in 6 and Golden Knights and Stars take it to the last game in 7.
Okay.
And who wins?
Yeah.
The Stars.
All
the
right.
Golden Knights lose. Jack Eichel muffs a breakaway and it's stolen and slapped downfield down the ice into an open net, and the Dallas Stars win it. So kind of how he did to us, but whatever. But is that we wrapped up on the Sabres talk here, gents? Anything else you want to add? Alrighty, well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Callie. I was joined by Dom Loss and Mike Marino. And Dom, Mike, how do you always end these, buddy?
Go Sabres!
Go Bills.